guys, my name is Kim and I'm here today to talk to you about the term Aboriginal. Now, Aboriginal is really a word that means everything, which means that it actually means nothing. How many of you have really thought about what the term means? When I say Aboriginal, what do you think of? Some answers that I've gotten are Native, Indian, rights, war, and treaty. All of these are important terms which relate back to Aboriginal, but none of them offer a definition. In terms of a legal definition, Aboriginal means Indian, Métis, or Inuit. The distinction here is that they're three groups of separate peoples with unique heritages, languages, cultural practices, and spiritual beliefs. Yet somehow we group these three distinct groupings under one heading, making the term Aboriginal very broad. In legislation, Aboriginal is used to define the behaviors and processes between the state and those deemed with Indigenous heritage. The term Aboriginal really developed its modern legal definition in 1982 when it was used to legally state how Aboriginal rights were defined. But how do we really use the term? The primary use of Aboriginal is a method of identification. When we think of identity, we think of long-standing. An identity is thought to withstand the time and change. By using Aboriginal as an identity, we are really using a term that's stuck in the past. In terms of definitions, let's Google. Merriam-Webster Dictionary states that Aboriginal is being the first or earliest known of its kind present in a region. By this definition, anything can be Aboriginal. Plants, animals, people, trees. An interesting take, but I definitely prefer the legal definition. I find Merriam-Webster's dictionary explanation fits more closely with the term Indigenous. Technically speaking, the two are very different, though it's listed as a synonym for Aboriginal. We'll discuss that more when we talk about indigeneity. Now, what do we mean when we talk about Aboriginal rights? The simplest explanation, rights of Aboriginal people. Yet, these rights are at the mercy of settler laws, and so there's no way we can objectively define them. Think about this. If there were no settlers, would there be Aboriginals? Aboriginal title is similar, as it's defined by the underlying title of the Crown. Aboriginal title is only a term because the Crown claimed title of the land through discovery. Interesting concept, though. How can you discover a place that's already occupied by a group of people? Simply put, you can't. But according to the doctrine of terra nullius, North America was considered vacant at the time of discovery because the Aboriginal peoples who occupied it were considered uncivilized and inherently inferior to European settler states. Bam! Superiority complex. Today, both Aboriginal title and Aboriginal rights are related to the entitlement of Aboriginal people to ownership, management, and use of traditional lands and resources. And this is all based on continuous occupation and use. Now, Aboriginal title can be sold to the Crown. Additionally, in legislation, it states that the government may, with good reason, infringe on Aboriginal title. Good reasons include, but are not limited to, road building, environmental protection, and economic development of forestry, mining, or hydropower. Pardon me, Aboriginal people, but you must pack up and move off your land that you've occupied for thousands of years so that we can build a road connecting our new subdivision to the local Walmart. The term Aboriginal is one commonly used and widely accepted. The problem that arises is when we associate preconceptions with the term. For example, Aboriginal is frequently and historically used to describe people in desperate situations, but this isn't always true. That's like saying that all NFL football players are 6'2" and 200 pounds. We need to stop thinking of Aboriginals as victims and really confront our own attitudes. To properly use the term Aboriginal, we need to bring it out of the past and stop assuming that there's a straight line from past practices and identity to current ones. Instead of classifying people, we need to develop a horizontal and level relationship. This is the basis for any effective form of co-management and communication. Real talk, we're all human and we can all learn from each other.